TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern?
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
For yourself, a merry little Christmas night. And have yourself a merry little Christmas.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good evening, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it is that time for the closing bell, Wednesday, December 4th, just 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3, till Christmas. Deck the halls. Hopefully deck the halls with some winners tonight. Shout out to Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights, and of course Mr. Richard Poplis, as it's snowing in Yukon. And let's hope that it turns to raining threes tonight. No Caravan against Baylor. And I'm telling you, the line is up to 3.5 in a few spots with a 144. No mas for me. They got, I think, Baylor, Gonzaga, and one other hiccup potentially coming. I'll get into that game, but I would stay far away from that game as we speak here. A shout out, of course, to our proud sponsors and partnerships. And of course, it's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download that app. It is free. Travis, Zach, myself, Mr. Berry, Miss Amber Hawley, Matt, the rest of that team, second to none. Come on over and join us. We're going to have an amazing 2025 and beyond. Viva Tequila Seltzer, CT Bets Austin, that team, that family, second to none. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut, but they have a new flavor, lemon. I haven't tried that one yet, so head on over to where you drink the adult beverages and try a Viva. And last but not least, of course, Terry Smith, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself while you're there. Head on over to atlantasteaksandseafood.com. Place an order. Use promo code STEAKS10. That is STEAKS10. Get 10% off your order. Place an order tonight. You'll be grilling by the weekend. And a quick shout out to CJ for putting together that Christmas little ad for Terry. Can't do it without you, kid. Thank you so much. So without further ado, Mr. Chicago himself, Riley Magnuson. What's up, Chip?
What is up, my man? Happy middle of the week Wednesday. I am ready to roll. It is a heck of a college basketball slate today. So if you're a college basketball fan, or maybe if you didn't use last week to get yourself into gear for college basketball tonight, and really all of this week leading into, you mentioned it, your UConn just alone has a great schedule coming up here as far as entertaining games, at least. Great week to get into some college basketball action, as well as obviously a little bit sprinkled in here and there as well tonight. So, good day to preview some good college basketball games and see what we got with some of these teams. But other than that, always finding plenty of things to talk about on these shows with you, my friend.
Yeah, I pulled up in the meat and potato section. I left it right there for you. The Hero World Championship tees off tomorrow. Mr. Scotty Scheffler, defending champ. Brady released it around plus 250. 225 as I get my Wednesday hiccups here. But as I led into this morning show, I'm going to lead it off this way with you. Word on the street. Tony Finau finally going to jump to live. Are you buying or selling?
That's a good question. I'll sell. I'll sell unless I'm buying if maybe they're. We've been obviously tiptoeing around this merger for I don't even know how long it's been now. So maybe the players are starting to hear word that something's getting figured out, and it's not good. So if that's the case, then I am buying it, and we'll probably see some more guys maybe tiptoeing over there. But for a guy that hasn't had as many wins as probably you would have expected on his aggregate performance across his career, maybe it's time to reap some benefits somewhere else. So I don't know. I'll sell it, but maybe there's in a week or two here we're a lot closer to hearing some actual news about this merger coming down the pipe.
And as I was explaining with Brady, when they were formulating the Live Tour, when Greg Norman was putting together, they needed some star power, and supposedly Tiger turned down $700-800 million. They had some big names jump over there for some big bags of money, and like Dustin Johnson came out and says, "Yeah, damn straight, I did it for the money." And then you've seen a Bryson DeChambeau, a John Rahm. Now, as a merger gets closer, maybe obviously those big bags aren't going to be offered unless your name was Rory, probably, or maybe even Tiger as a part-timer over there. But again, I'm hearing 2026, so one more year they're going to iron this out, shake hands, sing kumbaya, and put things together. And back to the Hero in Bermuda, 20 golfers, not 89 at the Masters or 160 at a U.S. Open. So I still like the thought of, $1 million up top, and not that Scotty needs the money at this point, or his caddy. But defending champ 2-1 plus 250. I think it's pretty decent value.
And minus 400 for a top five. Like you said, part of that is because there's only 20 golfers, and as far as Scotty Scheffler's performance, but minus 400 with the names that you got in here is just ridiculous amount of respect there. So I'm with you. For a guy who should be well rested and ready to roll, I would imagine so. And a lot of these guys, a lot of these guys that are in this tournament and that are some of the other contenders. Didn't exactly finish the season fantastic, or we haven't seen anything spectacular from them in a while here. So I'm sure there's going to be one or two other guys that, even if Scotty Scheffler does play great, there's going to be a couple guys that also play great here. So I'm with you. Anytime you can get Scotty Scheffler and there's less names to worry about in this sense, it's not a bad look.
And I this is the last real stop of the year. Then they kick off in Hawaii in January. And I said this as well as I peeked over to Circa and Jeffrey Benson, and they're hanging a plus 445 at the Masters, looking to repeat there as well. I still visualize the 10th, 11th hole with Morikawa and Oberg there, but Scotty flexed his muscles as those two went into the water, and the rest was history there. my point there is if you want to tie up some money, and so if you're $100 player, for instance, and instead of taking the fam out for a couple $100 dinner, or instead of buying your 38th putter or putting some money on a putter, let's say a 2-unit play on Scotty here, as we did last year at the Masters, and we got close to 10-1 with the 2 units. I don't think it's a bad play at this point either.
No, by no means, and especially if he wins this, let's say, and then wins another 1 or 2 before the Masters, it's gonna at 450. You're gonna wish you had 450. It's gonna be 3-1, 350. Depending on how everyone else is playing there. So there's a chance that that's about as good as you're gonna get. Of course, if there's some other guys that could play fantastic up until that point that might cut into those that type of trend or switch there as far as his odds are concerned. But I'm with you. You and I have been on the Scotty Scheffler train for a while. I was in on him when it was 50-1, 2-3 years ago on some of those majors. So still value on the man until further notice, until someone else puts that type of consistency together, until his wheels fall off and he's not putting up 10 out of 11 top 10s and whatnot. There's going to be value in Scotty Scheffler 100%.
Last Wednesday of the NFFC waiver wire, and I got a handful of teams that will be in the 3-week sprint for $250,000.
Yeah, I
got a handful of teams knocking on the door to backdoor into this playoff run. It's a reset. I've already talked to about it, but I thought I have Patrick Mahomes on one of the teams, and I thought I struck gold because I snuck in the waiver wire last Wednesday, and I had $4 left, and I bid $3 on Trevor Lawrence, and I got him, and so he was going to just back up Patrick Mahomes when needed, if I ever did need it, hoping I didn't need it. Right. And now that dirty hit just put on the IR before we came live here, and the gentleman has been suspended for 3 games. But now I'm in a little dilemma because my backup tight end is Isaiah Likely, and he's on a bye. And my other tight end is Jake Ferguson, who hasn't played in 2 weeks because of a concussion and just happens to be playing on Monday night. So Juwan Johnson's out there. Not that I don't think I'm going to get him for $1 with Taysom Hill out. So I went with Schoonmaker as the second one. No one's going to run to the window and get Schoonmaker for $1. But my point, and I'm going to ask you this question. We got like a 13-point lead going into the last week to get into this dance for $250,000. Right. Would you go in and get Will Levis or Bryce Young and have a backup quarterback, or you're risking the fact that old Mr. You-know-who, Jake, plays on Monday? If he doesn't, I'm rolling the dice here, and that whatever points I would have got from a tight end could cost me getting in with a chance to win $250,000.
Right. And are you talking about picking up a quarterback just for this week or for going forward for the next 3 to 4 weeks, whatever it is?
I have one move. I'm in checkmate. Yeah. I have $1. So do I pick up?
I see. So you have one move to make. I see. Oh, man, that is a good question.
Now, some people will say, listen, if Mahomes ain't playing, you have no shot. It's not like Mahomes has been a superstar this year. But my point is, at least Buffalo's breathing on their back. But if Buffalo was to hiccup 1 or 2 games here, Kansas City might not have to play in our last week in Week 17, and I'd be quarterback dry. But the problem is, if I don't back up Jake Ferguson, and I take a 0 there and he doesn't play, and I get beat by 1 or 2 points, it's a moot point anyways.
I guess the only thing is, it's you want to make sure you're getting into the dance, or do you want to give yourself the best chance to, as many cards in the deck once you are in the dance, and you know what I mean, where obviously you want to get into the dance, but if that's the case, and then like you said, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to finish the season, then you're going to be in deeper shit than you are now. I would imagine, right?
But you got to get to the dance.
Or you got to get to the dance. It's like you gotta use your star pitcher to get to the dance in the first place. Anyways, that's the thing. So I'm just trying to see if there's any up to date stuff on Jake Ferguson, but I don't know. This was 24 hours ago. Just encouraging news on Jake Ferguson, but nothing official. So or you got one move. Never mind. Yeah.
I only got one move. And you know the funny thing, what I'm hearing is the almighty Lions, who we had already put in the NFC Championship game, we had, as the favorite to win the Super Bowl now. Due to their injuries, that line is only 3.5, Riley. You're going to be sticking your chest out a little as the Packers are coming into town.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for the game. I will tell you that. No, that is the case, and just the way the Packers are playing and trying to enact that revenge, I'm excited for it. So, Packers got a few guys that I'm glad they're not rushing them back, but at some point to reach that extra level, you definitely need them back. Romeo Doubs, I believe, is out again. Where's the report here? Jair Alexander and Edgerrin Cooper, all three of those guys would be awesome re-additions to the team there. And Jair Alexander, especially if he's fully healthy and playing, he just one of those situations where they keep putting him in and then getting him re-injuring him or hurting him worse. So that's one where kind of that same thing of not trying to call him a paycheck collector, but kind of in your category of one of those guys these last couple of years for Jair Alexander. So, but anyways, there's other than that, the team is looking healthy and looking good. So I'm feeling solid about it, and you need to play mistake-free football essentially.
So you already say Dobbs is out again?
They already ruled him out about an hour ago for that concussion. So would assume he's back after this week with 10 days off, whatnot. So
insert Wicks and Bo Melton on standby.
Yeah, and Malik Heath, throw him into the mix as well. The interesting thing though is that we didn't see too much. I'm trying to pull up the target share that he got the other day, Dontavian Wicks, but 4 catches on 5 targets, 30 yards for Wicks, so still not really that inspiring. So interested to see what he looks like there this tomorrow night, I guess, now at this point. But at the end of the day, I guess, Kraft had 6 catches, and then, Josh Jacobs had 4 catches, and that was half the receptions there, and it was spread out pretty well. So, I don't know. Wicks, yes, still Wicks, but if we don't see anything in Dobbs' absence tonight, I'm putting a missing persons watch out for Dontavian Wicks tomorrow night.
So my question is this roll the ball out, first one to 33, 35 wins, or are you going to play that keep away, with Jacobs, but they can play keep away as well with Montgomery and Gibbs?
I'll say first one to 24. I'll say that.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I could be putting my foot in my mouth, but Packers defense is playing a lot better. Maybe they'll take some chances, and that might lead to some great plays, might lead to some negative plays, kind of like we've seen from some of these shootouts these last few weeks. Steelers, Bengals, Ravens, Bengals. I guess a couple off the top of my head. Maybe it goes like that, but I almost am leaning towards this one being a like you said, play keep away. Both defenses playing aggressive and taking some chances. So I'll say I'll say first one to 20-24. That's kind of where I'm going with this one.
Are you buying the Lions are hurt and banged up, and therefore the Eagles and Packers are on the rise here?
Not quite buying it. No, I'll be honest. I'm not quite buying it. Defensively, I am a little. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm a little concerned. I still think that offense is going to be humming. And it's going to be well motivated and ready to go. So I'm not quite buying it. It's making me feel, giving me a little more hope for whether it be tomorrow night and if the Packers can win that one, the division altogether. But at the end of the day, this Lions team is still going to be really, really motivated. And unless they lose one of these key players on offense, I think they're going to be just fine.
As you said, college hoops, a phenomenal schedule tonight, and. I talked in the intro, UConn hosting Baylor 3.5. I mean, UConn last year at home, I think the shortest number might have been like an 8 or 8.5, maybe a 9 against a Creighton. I don't know. I don't have a good temperature on this team right now. I really don't have a good temperature on Mr. Hurley right now. I think he needs to tone it down. It is a whiteout at Stores. It's a big game for UConn to stop the bleeding. They've played now 5 cupcakes, and you can't include that when they've played some real teams. They're 0-3 right now. A 3, now a 3.5, and I read this morning or last night that Caravan was going to be out again. So again, I'm nervous, guys. I would just watch that game, Mr. Poplis, and enjoy it as the birthday boy there, my little pooch Fenway, 2 years old. But anyways, there's an intriguing game tonight, and everyone here, we got standing room only, guys. To anyone new to this channel, jump on over to YouTube and subscribe at East Coast Sports Investors. Tell a friend and come on back here. Turn on the notifications. When you see an under-over of 159, 160, and 2 evenly matched teams, the brain usually flocks to the over. But if you think about pace, you think about what it takes to get to a 160, that basically means both teams need to get into the low 80s for you to cash that ticket. Well, there's a game tonight. Auburn plus 330 fresh off of their Maui championship. The ECSI VIP's got a taste of that one. Travels to UNC. And the funny is the overnight over Riley was 177, not 157, not 167. It was 177. And there was only one way that number could go down, and that is down. It's down to 174.5, maybe some 175s if you shop around. My point is this. Get your pom-poms, get your popcorn. The first one to 95 wins this game, and it's definitely an overplay in my eyes.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I can get an updated line. I saw one spot that was ticking back up a little bit higher. DraftKings got a 176 actually, so back up a little bit there. But no, I mean, there's a boatload of good games. But yeah, this Alabama game with UNC is going to be an absolutely electric show. So I like you said, one of these teams is getting to 80. Both these teams could get up over 90 potentially. It would not surprise, should not surprise anybody. So you're going to see some fireworks. You're going to see some high tempo basketball here, and it's going to be fun to watch. So I think the Alabama comes in and I don't know. They're underdogs in a lot of spots right now. So I don't know. I'm torn on this one. UNC, I'm not sold on them quite yet here. I really like Alabama, but they're going to be a little streaky. So these Alabama games are just tough to call for me. So I'm going to go and lean towards Alabama, but it's nowhere near anything that I'm confident in. And I'll tell you what.
No, and I think if I heard correctly, I know Kentucky went down last night to Clemson, but that was the first game the SEC had lost to the ACC 9-1 right now. Excuse me. I did watch Tennessee beat up a Syracuse team without their leading scorer.
Yeah.
I said pound for pound right now, Riley. Right now, which is early. It's only December 4th. But right now, pound for pound, Tennessee, the best team in the country.
Yeah, no, I mean they're a team that, especially 96 points, let alone beating the crap out of Syracuse there is obviously impressive. So we get to see some good tests out of them these next week and a half or so. They got Miami. I'm not sure if it's a neutral site or not, but they play Miami, which actually isn't a very, very big test, but another ACC team. And then they got to go to Illinois, Big Ten country, which will be one of the bigger home games to start the season for Illinois here. So that's going to be a really good one next week. Those two teams, I believe, played last year in a really good game, so that's going to be a nice contest there. But no, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, they not only that, but they're taking care of business. They haven't played the toughest schedule. They've played 3 teams up until this point that are up until yesterday that were good, and they beat the doors off of all of them. So not really any sweats yet. So if they go in Illinois and beat them by 10 plus, not only am I already agreeing with you today, I might be printing the shirts early on that one.
Big Ten update.
The biggest one that I got for you, Michigan goes into Wisconsin, who was the hottest starting team in the Big Ten. And I think it was a 3.5. At least whenever I looked at it yesterday, it was a 3.5. in Wisconsin. And, since Bo Ryan left, that home court hasn't been quite as tough as it was during the Bo Ryan era here with Greg Gard. And, obviously you and I have had plenty of conversations about Greg Gard and what he's got to do to stay around here. But even then, a 3.5 at home with the way they've been playing was a little stinky to me yesterday. And then, of course, Michigan comes in and wins that game. So Michigan, man, after what they did last year and the kind of top-heavy talent that they had, and still to a decent degree has been impressive to me. So they are in a huge bounce-back year. I think if you did the rest of the Big Ten and you saw what Dusty May did elsewhere, taking FAU to the tournament in deep runs, and now you're seeing this already going into Wisconsin in his first Big Ten game. I'd be a little nervous if I'm some of these Big Ten teams. So credit to them, great win. Wisconsin kicking above their coverage a little bit. They're going to be solid, but are they the 11th team in the country, the number 11 team in the country like their current ranking is? Probably not. And so still a huge year for Greg Gard here to take care of business, but and they're going to win a lot of games. But, a little carried away, and obviously they're undefeated, so you go undefeated, you're going to rise in the ranks. But they're going to fall a little bit, and Michigan's going to see a ranking next to their name probably coming up after this week here.
Yeah, Wisconsin had a great first half. Actually, was controlling it for part of the second half, and Michigan came from downtown. And again, Dusty May has done wonders there. Had Tyler Wyatt on for the second half of our show this morning, and we were talking some college hoops, and we talked some college football, and his numbers and everything seem to tell us that the Oregon-Penn State football game is an absolute mismatch, meaning just the speed, the offense, and just the pace alone. It's only a 3.5. It's only a 3.5, and we're waiting for more chaos. And I said to myself, well, if Georgia beats Texas and Penn State beats Oregon, now you got some chaos. Never mind about the SMU Clemson game and, of course, Tulane Army. Give us your thoughts on the Oregon-Penn State game.
Yeah, we talked the other day about it. Given all the factors that you just laid out, as far as Oregon's speed advantage and all of this, as far as skill level, and yet we're sitting here at a 3.5. It is a little concerning to me as far as why it is, especially in a neutral field. If you were at Happy Valley and a whiteout, and we were sitting at a 3.5, I'd say okay, I could get behind that. But here on a neutral field, and granted, they obviously Oregon's got some got fans all over the country, and they'll travel okay. Penn State probably will have a little bit of the fan advantage, being just a short trip over to Indy, but as compared to Oregon, at least there. But Penn State's they're probably gonna play a lot of keep away. Talking about a game where you're playing keep away, they will probably try and do a lot of that. Slow pace on offense, trying to keep Oregon's offense off the field there. So I don't know if they win, but I'll give Penn State a serious fighting chance. It's not Michigan, it's not Ohio State that they got to go through. So maybe this is maybe they'll be just fine in this game, and then they'll run into Ohio State in the playoffs and lose again in that fashion there, and that'll be repeating history in that way there. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where. If Penn State wins, they're gonna be the 1 or 2 seed, which is absolutely insane when you look at it that way. So and like we talked about, if Oregon loses, I think no matter what, if Oregon loses, they're gonna be that 5 seed. Which has a lot of benefits to it. So I'm not saying they're going to lose intentionally. There's obviously a lot of pride in winning your conference championship, but being that 5 seed this year could be real helpful. So I'm not saying, but I'm kind of saying.
Well, the funny thing is again, if both Oregon or just one of Oregon or Texas lose, I wonder what Notre Dame will be thinking, because of the fact that they could have moved up to 2 or 3 in the rankings, which might have helped their cause later down in this playoff run, because the way they have it right now, hosting Alabama as a 3.5-point favorite, and they've never matched up well with Alabama, even though it'll be a home game. But that speed in the SEC usually does them in, Riley.
Yeah, 100%. That one would be a tough one. If you're Notre Dame, you're kind of hoping that you'll take anybody other than an SEC team. If and not to say that they can't win at home, especially at home. Not to say that they can't win, but if you had your choice, you're certainly not picking one of these SEC teams. curious because we got Iowa State, Arizona, who's going to be in, and barring a Boise State loss, will be the 12 seed. We talked about Boise State, UNLV, Clemson, SMU. Obviously, Clemson. If Clemson wins, they're in because they're the conference champ. If that is the case, is SMU sticking in the top 12? Do they slide to 12 flat, and Clemson is 11, SMU 12? Is that what we're expecting here?
You cannot, I repeat, you cannot punish SMU for getting to the championship game with one loss, and then if they lose to now if they lost to Clemson 41-3, then there's talks. Of course, you can push them out, but a well played game where again this kind of reminds me of a few years ago, Georgia, Alabama. Georgia was undefeated. Alabama had one loss. Georgia knew it didn't matter. They were already in the Final Four. Alabama was playing for its life to get into the Final Four. I think that's what you got here, where Clemson and Dabo says, hey, you poo-pooed us for an undefeated season. Well, now you're going to poo-poo us for the first 3-loss team to get into the dance and win this damn thing. So I think the sense of urgency is on the Clemson side, and SMU kind of knows, hey, if we keep this close enough and don't get blown out, we're still going to be in the dance.
Right. No, that one's an interesting one to me, and I know people are talking, but yeah, you can't punish them. I know Miami fans are upset. They slid all the way down to 12. So Alabama's obviously hoping for a little bit of help here potentially, and hoping that Clemson doesn't win, because if Clemson wins, if Clemson wins, Alabama's sitting on the outside the way it's standing right now. So Alabama obviously massive SMU fans here this Saturday. So I am excited for that. I am excited to see all these potential matchups. Ohio State obviously. Going to be an interesting case. Curious to see where Indiana falls and what type of matchup they'll have. Because if the what I'm hoping doesn't happen for the Big Ten's sake, and for the sake of teams like Indiana, who had an easy schedule, but you're in the Big Ten, and gives hope to anyone else in the Big Ten, like in Illinois or Iowa or Minnesota, gives hope to all those teams by being in the dance. Having to go to, a Tennessee or a Georgia, however the chips may fall, and losing in embarrassing fashion in round one would be some serious egg on the Big Ten's face there, and would prove a lot of the naysayers wrong that are complaining about Indiana's schedule. So I hope that is not the case. Hope Indiana gets a win in that first round, or at least they put up a good fight. That is my biggest hope as a Big Ten fan here, is that Indiana does not get lambasted in this first round here.
Hockey, not a big slate, 4 games in all. Team totals, not a lot to choose from today. If you like Toronto today, Toronto team total over the 3.5. You can get that at plus 120. Big cherry on top in Riley's world here. If you like the Bruins tonight, who coming off that loss, actually a 2-1 win, I think it was, in overtime. Kind of a sketchy goal there. You can get the Bruins team total over 3.5. Plus 140 there. If you like a low-scoring game, you can take Chicago's team total under the 2.5 at even money, saying they don't get to 3 or more there. I think there's going to be some goals scored in this game, though. Dallas and the Kings, they have it set up where, honestly, both team totals over 2.5, minus 160 or 145. Can't do that. Get the Kings at home tonight, plus 105, or if you like the Dallas side, you got to lay the 120 there. Vegas beats Edmonton last night, 1-0. That was our only loss. Their team total over for the Edmonton there. If you like Vegas on a back-to-back, team total over 3.5 at even money there. NBA, it's kind of comical. Celtics outside looking in the midseason tournament. They needed the Bucks to win, which they did. They needed the 76ers to win by 37 or more, or 38 or more it was. And after 3, or in the middle of the third, they were up 36-37. They took their foot off the gas and won by 15. They host the Pistons tonight. Now, I remember not too long ago, you and I talking about a Pistons team coming in February, 14, 15-point underdogs, and they beat the Celtics outright. So I don't have a good temperature there. Currently, the banged-up Celtics, 12 and a hook. I'm just going to say the Pistons are a live dog tonight.
You don't have to talk to me about it. You know how I am with these scrappy Pistons. Haven't shown it. They are playing second night of a back-to-back, but didn't put up a great showing last night on either end of the floor. Outside of that game and some of their losses, it doesn't show it. But a lot of their games, they're playing really solid defensively here. So could be a little. They're just a pesky team. So if the Celtics are kind of taking this lightly, they're going to start getting frustrated, and this Pistons team can be pesky. So I'm with you 100%. Pacers Nets, an interesting one. Nets 9-13. Both these teams actually 9-13. Pacers not living up to preseason expectations. 3-game losing streak. They are also on the second night of a back-to-back. Nets also on a 3-game losing streak here. Starters should be in good shape, but their bench is pretty banged up here for the Pacers here, so the depth is potentially a little questionable here. But 2.5, at least for the expectation, these Pacers still seem light, but second night of back-to-back, banged up bench kind of makes sense there, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Lakers Heat. I don't know if they took this off the board or what. I saw Heat minus 3.5 at home.
It's back to 3.5. Yes.
Back to 3.5. Okay, so there may be some news coming out if it was because I have the book that I have open. It just got put back up. So maybe some goofiness going on there if it was taken off and put back on. But I saw 3.5 before it was taken off as well. But you got Jimmy Butler, who's game to game questionable. Maybe that was some news on him potentially, Anthony Davis potentially. So always. In this case, gotta watch out for some injury news, as we always say. But giving some credit to the Heat getting that respect as long as these guys are in. Obviously, if there's no Anthony Davis, that would explain clearly why the Lakers at 12-9 are coming in as underdogs here. But nonetheless, one to watch out there. And if everyone's healthy and you still got the Heat getting some respect here, then I'll go with the Heat. Magic and Sixers. Magic 5.5-point favorites on the road against the Sixers team. This Magic team, we talked about up until these last week or so, we haven't talked much about it, but for a while we were talking about, does anyone in the East other than the Celtics and the Cavs want to be good? And the Magic are the ones standing up, holding that, at least, especially by record and the way they're playing. Bucks also playing very, very well right now, getting back in the mix of things. Knicks playing a lot better here. So those 5 teams starting to either separate themselves or reestablish themselves there. And the Sixers still having all these issues, obviously. All their guys, main guys out. Of course, they have won their last couple of games, so starting to play better defensively with some lesser opponents as compared to this Magic team here. So don't really know what to make of the Sixers team. Magic lost a small losing streak last night. At the Knicks, so traveling short game here to the Sixers. I'll give the Magic the win, but this one could be an ugly one, kind of a gross, low-scoring, scrappy game a little bit. Total at 208.5, so it could be a real gross one there. Hawks and Bucks, speaking of, Hawks, another team that did make that NBA Cup. They have actually been playing, they've won 4 in a row, so they're starting to play really well here, including that 4-game win streak. A couple lesser teams, but 2 straight wins on back-to-back games against the Cavs. So great showings there. Bucks, obviously, we just talked about playing really, really well. So Milwaukee minus 4.5. Seems about right the way this Hawks team was playing. If the Hawks were still struggling and a little wishy-washy, I'd say that 4.5 is a little light. Still think I'd respect it a little more if I was real bullish on the Bucks and we're in the full – this is a championship level team in the Bucks. I'd probably respect, more than that over that 5 number there. So might be still a little hesitant, especially with the winning streak here for this Bucks team and the way they're playing because they're starting to play a lot better, at least competent to good in some cases on defense as compared to where they were. So you got to watch out for this Bucks team. They've still got some guys out getting back healthy and whatnot. So I'll kind of lean towards the Hawks in that one, if I'm being honest with you there. But that one could be one of the more entertaining games of the night there. And then Clippers and Wolves. Wolves minus 3.5 on the road. Clippers surprising people, at least compared to what the expectations were, 14-9. Wolves disappointing to this point, 10-10. Clippers won the last 2. Wolves won the last 2. Wolves' offense just real clunky and sporadic right now. Trying to lean on Anthony Edwards, obviously. Don't have a ton of other options that are playing well right now. Like I said, other than clunkiness, I don't know how else to put it there. So I'll respect the Wolves as 3.5-point favorites on the road, but it's almost like these numbers still aren't adjusting to the way they're actually playing right now for the Wolves case. So I'm staying far away from this Wolves team until I start to see them really start to click as a team that we saw end up being a championship contender last year. They're nowhere near playing at that level right now. So I'm staying away from them, but could be a team if they start playing well to really start hammering home some favorite lines on this Wolves team here.
Yeah, I'll be on Sports Grid at 8:30 with Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan, and that was one of the games I wanted me to break down. It was kind of funny. There was initially early today some money leaking in on the Clippers. It did, excuse me, dip to 3, now back to 3.5. And what I thought Mr. Benson was being as sharp as always is that the money line didn't move. In other words, Minnesota opened up -150, Clippers +130, and even from the 3.5 to the 3, he didn't move that. So back to a 3.5 there. Wanted to go back to Atlanta, Milwaukee. If you do like Atlanta tonight, I think the play there would be team total over the 116 and a hook.
Yeah.
And you get that at even money there. I'm going to hand this out. Everyone grab your pens. We are on the verge, I think, of cracking Da Vinci's Code on some college team totals. Again, on Monday, we were over 66.5, had 64 with 4 minutes and 57 seconds to go. Got to 66, and we had a missed layup, offensive rebound, missed layup with 2.5 minutes to go, and didn't score the rest of the game. Went 2-0 last night, so we're 7-1 our last 8, and I got a couple small games for everyone to take a look at here. 7 p.m., Georgia Southern, team total 64.5 under against VCU. Wyoming, team total 64.5 under against Utah State. Alcorn State, team total over 57.5. They're at Wichita State. And this one here is the bigger names that you guys will know. Virginia travels to number 8, Florida. Team total 57.5. We have them over. We have them over 57.5 and scoring in the low 60s there. Closing thoughts, Mr. Magnuson.
Closing thoughts, my friend. I was going to cut in, but we moved into. I didn't want to derail us. Packers Lions down to flat 3 in a lot of shops, my friend. Flat 3. So I am interested in this game. Well, obviously I'm interested in this game. I'm excited for this game. Feeling decent about the Pack's chances in that game there. But obviously, mistake-free football. Probably got to win a turnover battle. And force Jared Goff into some mistakes because obviously he played real solid, and that offense was really good the first time around against the Packers. And Packers offense, Jordan Love banged up, but if you remember, critical, disgusting pick 6 at the end of the first half that derailed what was a low-scoring, close game at the point there. So feeling good about it. Like I was saying the other day, Packers win that game. The division is wide open for all 3 teams to potentially win, and the top 2 spots in the NFC are up for grabs between those 3 teams. Whoever wins, and obviously the Eagles there. So big game tomorrow. One of the bigger games of the NFL season. I will, if I do say so myself, my friend. So hoping I am on the right side of it and feeling good about that going forward. Otherwise, we'll shift our sights to just making sure we can get the 6th seed at the very worst. In that case there. So I will be ready to rock and roll, and I will be back on Friday to recap it, and hopefully I'm looking like a happy man on Friday afternoon.
Again, there is so much on the board right now. It's like that sensory overload with all these sports clashing. And again, back in the day, there wasn't so much college hoops. There's a lot more college hoops to try to sift through here, and that's what ECSI does here. We're your sports broker. We're the ones that do all the work. We get those blurps, these half-point moves and the scratches, who's in, who's out, even refs, weather, you name it. So if you're looking for a little help to help you build that bankroll, you can DM me at EC Sports Invest. You can go right over to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Top right, plans and pricing. For $3 a day, you get every one of our plays sent to you to your cell phone via text and emailed. as well. So jump on board for as little as $3 a day. If you're looking for something a little more long term, like through the Super Bowl, through March Madness, hit me up and I'll take good care of you. I promise. I want to play this one more time. Don't go anywhere.
Love yourself. A merry little Christmas. And have yourself a merry little Christmas.
That's Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, guys. If you're not used to them or don't know their name, I know you know Omaha. There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Terry Smith. Head on over to Facebook, introduce yourself, follow Terry Smith. While you're there, tell him JD and Riley from ECSI sent you. And then if you have any questions, comments, concerns, head on over to atlantasteaksandseafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, you name it. He's got you covered for all the holidays, the football, you name it. My grill doesn't stop. Had some nice lamb this afternoon, thanks to Terry as well. Use the promo code STEAKS10, get 10% off the whole order. He's based out of Atlanta. If you're on the East Coast like myself, in 2 days, boom, you get a knock at your door, you open it up, and it's nice. What's the ice, baby. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm drawing a
Vanilla
blank.
ice. What I was.
No, the dry ice. Jesus, my jokes are dry. Never mind the dry ice. Open it up and you still got all this dry ice here. He goes as far as the Midwest. So again, he'll take care of you. I promise that. Again, me and Riley will be back on Friday at some point in the afternoon. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Paul Stone will be here to break down the conference championship games, and Adam Trigger will be on in the second half hour, of course, to a day early because he's on the road traveling to some games on Friday. So he'll be here from Wager Talk to break down some college hoops. 3 p.m., the return of Lou Finocchiaro. The UFC is back. We'll be talking there. And then, of course, at 5 p.m., Ron Marmolevsky live from L.A. to talk some NFL and college. So, everyone, again, head on over to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com or send us an email to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. For myself, Jeff Dawson at DC Sports Investor, one and only Riley Magnuson from Riley Magnuson underscore the one. Riley underscore Magnuson the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Have some fun. Grab those pom-poms for Auburn and UNC. You're going to get a good one there. So we'll see you soon.